Hey, welcome to the podcast. Before we get into it today, I just want to talk about our sponsors. This is brought to you by Local Menace Apparel. Now, we first came across these guys at Four Chord Music Festival last year, and honestly, they're right up our street, completely involved in the same scene as us. Local Menace is an independent punk and alternative clothing brand, doing things their own way, no corporate nonsense, just quality gear made for people who actually care about our scene. Whether you're heading to a show or you're just repping the culture day to day, they've got you covered. Head over to localmenace.com. That's localmenace.com. Head to their store and you can use our discount code, which will get you 25% off. The code is WASTETIME. That's WASTETIME. That's localmenace.com. Link will also be in our show notes. All right, let's get into it. Welcome to the Wasting Time podcast, part of the Never a Phase network. I am Chris and I'm here with Nick. Hello, Nick.
Good afternoon or evening or good morning, wherever you are when you listen to this, I guess.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. Four Chord have finally announced what they're doing this year.
Yes.
The lineup is out in the world.
At time of recording, it's been announced this afternoon. Yeah.
And early bird is sold out as well, by the looks of it.
Congratulations to the festival on that. Congratulations, Rishi and Adam and everyone. That's a great start. So we've got Knock Loose heading out day one, and then Pierce the Veil day two.
Yeah. Military Gunner there again, which will please both me and Greg.
Yeah, you guys will be pleased about that.
Mayday Parade, you love a bit of piano rock.
I love me some Mayday Parade, yeah.
State Champs. We like to see those guys. Mom Jeans. Cartel. Finch. Driveways, obviously. Hit the Lights. Eternal Boy. Pending. Keep Flying. Don't Panic. Yeah.
It's great. There's lots of bands we would enjoy, lots of bands that we're kind of friends with these days. So if we end up going again, third year running, then it would be a good time, I would say.
We'll have to wait and see.
Watch this space.
Yeah, and we've got Slam Dunk around the corner as well. So if we do go, we've got an opportunity to, get a bit of practice in at Slam Dunk in a few weeks' time. I don't think we've actually chatted about kind of our plan for the day, have we? But maybe we can kind of scope that in the not too distant future before Slam Dunk.
Yeah, absolutely. See what interviews we get, all that kind of thing. Yeah, there's a lot of Slam Dunk in today's episode. A lot of Slam Dunk chat in today's episode, actually.
Okay, and we got a comedian on today, haven't we?
We do, yeah. We've got Matt Richardson, who's kind of... So I think he'll be unknown to a lot of... a large portion of our audience, which is obviously based in the States. But Matt's been kind of famous in the UK for a while. He's presented a lot of TV shows. He's been on the comedy circuit since I want to say 2012, something like that. Apologies if I got that year wrong, Matt. But the reason he's on the show is he is heavily into the same music as us, and he's always been very public about that. And in a lot of his radio jobs, he's interviewed the likes of Blink-182, the kind of artists who've still been slightly out of reach for us.
I was thinking as well when you booked him. I was thinking the Blink-182 connection, like the interview and things like that. Thinking who are the funniest kind of bands you've ever seen, and obviously Blink-182 are in there with they're the king of dick jokes and mom jokes and all that kind of jazz. But who have you seen live that has been really fucking funny?
So outside of Blink, when you asked that question, did you have anyone in particular in mind?
All of us are always dicking about, aren't they? They're always good fun.
Very true.
No effects as well.
Oh,
obviously,
of course.
Fat Mike gets up to all sorts of antics on stage, and obviously their songs as well. Have a definitely comedic element to them. Who else have I seen that's really funny?
I'll tell you, he was quite funny, a bit out there, and certainly with. I've never seen them play live, but he told us about his stage banter. But Chris from Show Off is a bit of a character.
Yes, he is a character. Yeah, that's a good shout. Especially more recently when you see live stuff of him playing where he just
I
like
know.
pulls out
Yeah,
members of the crowd and like just
yeah,
takes the piss out of them as if it's like, a
yeah,
heckler in a comedy show.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good shout. It's a good shout. Newfound Glory always dicking about a little bit. They're always having a bit of fun on stage, aren't they?
Yep.
One to think about. Maybe that's a short to put out there on the social media. Like
There we go.
who is the funniest band you've ever seen on
Yeah, I
stage?
like it. I like it.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Ska bands, a lot of ska bands are in that world, aren't they? Okay, anything else to chat through? Any new music on your radar?
I think the thing I've been mostly listening to is that new Mayday Parade
The
song.
parade song. Yeah.
Blame It on the Youth. Yeah, it's great. It's produced by Zach and Kenneth as their songs normally are. Yeah, love it.
I have to give it to you. I have to give it to you. That song is really, 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 really good. And I am no, not a Mayday Parade fan in the slightest, really. But that song kind of broke away from all my, all my conceptions of Mayday Parade, and yeah, it's brilliant. Really good song. It's a banger.
Yeah, yeah. They have other songs like that. That's another conversation for another time. But
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Maybe you need to create me a playlist of
yeah.
non-piano, emo rock songs of Mayday Parade.
Fair enough. Maybe I'll do that. Also, shout out to three friends who've been on the podcast before. They put out a song the other day called Scream Queen. It's really good. Oh, a couple of other big new releases. Menzingers obviously got a record on the horizon, had another song, Chance Encounters.
Yeah,
And then obviously there's a new Social D song ahead of their imminent album as
yeah.
well.
I think they're both awesome. I
Yeah.
prefer the Menzingers song to the previous one. What was it? What was the name of the first single that Menzingers did?
Nobody's Heroes, was it?
Yes, Nobody's
Yeah.
Heroes, which I think is a great song. Um, but I prefer this one more, the second release. And the Social D one's so good.
Yeah,
It's
the
like,
Social D one is really good. And I should also point out, so Nick and I are recording this on May 7th. This episode won't be out until at least May 8th, and which is the same day the Social D record's out. So if you're listening to this, you can listen to the whole record,
there
Born
you
to
go.
Kill, which is what
Yeah.
me and Nick will be doing at the time you're listening to this.
Yeah, absolutely. But that I mean that's the strongest single they brought
Oh,
out from that
agreed.
record so far. And
Agreed.
it's just
Yeah,
quintessential, like everything you want from a Social D song. Like it's
100%.
so well produced, it's so well put together. Um, so yeah, check that out if you haven't.
So that's the first Social D record since 2011. So it's been over 15 years. So it's that's
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah, it is exciting. Yeah, and we've had a little pre-listen of the Super Sometimes record that's coming out in a
We
couple of
have.
week or so it's coming out.
Yeah, it comes out on the 14th. So yeah, it comes out very soon. But yeah, we've been fortunate enough to hear the whole record. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's got some
so one
tunes
to look
on.
out. Yeah, definitely one to look out for. And I think that band are still early on their journey, but I think they're gonna kind of push on and do some good things.
Yeah, and they may or may not be appearing on the Wasting Time podcast very soon as well.
There you
Little
go.
tease. Yeah. Should we get into my interview with Matt?
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
good.
So as said before, Matt Richardson, comedian on the UK circuit, huge fan of the genre, and we've spoken to a couple of comedians before about coming on, and it hasn't aligned yet. So Matt has the honor of being the first one, and I think you guys are going to enjoy this chat. Here it is. And you're actually our first experience of having a comedian on
Yeah,
this as
yeah,
well.
we're a
So-
nightmare. Sorry, mate. I really appreciate you doing it though.
No, yeah, of course. Let me just introduce myself. So I'm Chris. I'm one of the hosts of the Wasting Time podcast.
I know. I've been listening. Don't you worry.
I appreciate for that. So I guess if you've been listening, you might have heard that I normally have a Geordie co-host.
Yes.
He's recently had his second kid, so he's kind of been doing
Oh,
interviews.
nice.
Obviously, he's busy, so he's been doing interviews where he can. But
Yeah, yeah, of
I've been
course.
having to
Fair
roll
enough, mate.
solo a lot. Yeah,
That's all
but
right.
yeah. I take it. Are you coming to me from home?
I am, yeah. I live near Oxford, so I live like Bicester way.
Okay, so it's like a village in the middle of nowhere, isn't it? I think
Well,
I
I
saw you.
mean,
So
it's like, yeah, it's sort of like it's a weird village. So it's like they've built on an old airbase. So it's like a new build village. It's a
oh,
housing estate
interesting.
in a field, but it's called a
Okay,
village. But yeah,
okay, got it,
so it's sort of like nice and villagey, but like not like an old house, which is quite nice.
got it, got it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm in Weybridge in Surrey, so
Oh, nice.
yeah, my wife and I moved out here a couple of years ago because like we got to an age where it's like, can't. We were kind of over East London, so I sort of went
Yeah,
for the
fair.
Surrey lifestyle, which is where I'm at these
Well, we
days.
did the same. We were in North London for years and then wanted more space and less mortgage, to be honest. And we were
Fair
sort of
enough.
looking, that we're doing like that thing of going each train stop out on each line and going, oh, we
Yeah,
could get a bit more if we go another 10 minutes. And
of
then
course.
I'm from Oxfordshire, but I'm from
Okay,
the other end. I'm from about 45 minutes away. But so it's sort of near
okay.
enough to people we know, but not too close.
What's the commute to London like from there?
So from Bicester, it is 50 minutes.
Okay, not too
I'm not
horrendous.
in that much really these days. Like it's not like when I was on the radio and obviously was in every day, but
Of
I'm in
course.
I go in like I've got a few weeks where I'm coming up where I'm in once a week, but that's it. It's not that bad.
Okay, and is
Yeah.
it? I mean, get into this in a minute. Is it presumably normally for if you're playing Top Secret or something? If you're doing
Yeah, top
gigs these
secret,
days,
things like that, meetings, stuff like that. Like, and we'll come
got
in
it.
to like actually now, like we'll come in and do things and like because even when we
Yeah.
lived there, we'd sort of not go and eat anywhere new and all that. So it's been quite nice, really. So we've been out 4 years now.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
So
pretty
yeah,
used to it at
yeah,
this
in and
point.
out. Yeah, man. It's well, look. I mean, I travel for work all the time, so like I'm just
Of
constantly in the
course.
car, so I don't mind it getting on the train.
And at time of recording, you just played Leeds. Just played Leeds. This
I did.
I've just noticed we both. Sorry to
Yeah,
jump from subjects. We both got a Beavertown glass randomly.
yeah. Of
I think
course.
you
I mean,
had one
that's
there.
the law, isn't it? Did you nick yours or did you get it in a pack?
I think I got it sent in a pack years ago.
Yeah, I bought a pack, and that's why I've got it because people always go if they see it in a video, they go, "You've stolen that." And actually, I'd say the ones I have stolen, the little half pint ones, are really good. I've got a couple of
Oh, I
those that
know
I've
the
nicked from a
ones.
bar, but
Yeah, yeah.
otherwise, this is actually legally mine.
Snap.
But yeah, I was in Leeds. So on Friday, I did. So it was the Leeds Glee. I don't know if you are
Yep.
aware of the Glee clubs from like touring and like going to music gigs, but it was the first birthday of their Leeds one, so I did that. And then on, I also did Halifax Friday night. So I opened the Glee club, closed Halifax, and then
Okay.
I did Redcar up by Middlesbrough on a Saturday afternoon, and then went back to the Glee.
Okay. And how were all of those?
Lovely, man. Really good gigs. But that is the joy of not having a full band setup is like lots. It's like when you go into
Yeah.
London, like I'll do 3 or 4 gigs while I'm in London in the evening just because you can do it because you can just nip around all the
Yeah.
different ones.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. It was. I saw. You did that collab post with your wife of the little
Yeah.
on the road with a comedian. That was a nice little insight into your
Yeah.
weekend. I
Yeah.
thought.
Well, also like music wise, bang on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting
Yeah.
ready. We're seeing Bring Me the Horizon in June in Krakow.
Oh
So
wow. Okay.
yeah,
Are you
yeah, we're going over.
going there specifically for that? Are you?
Yeah, pretty much. Like they sort
Yeah.
of announced the date, and we thought actually it's one of those places we've always fancied, so that'd be quite a
Yeah.
nice reason to go. And actually, like
Yeah.
the tickets were dirt cheap compared to tickets
Oh
here.
really?
I think
Okay.
we've paid like for like standing tickets in an arena was like 55 quid each.
That's pretty cheap in 2026, to be
These days,
fair.
that's good, isn't
Yeah.
it? And then
Yeah.
obviously I'm doing my first ever slam dunk this year of all the
Yeah.
years because I'm always gigging, and by the time we think about booking it, I've booked stuff in, so I just left it empty this year.
Okay, yeah, because I did notice I saw you on social media talking about that a while ago. I
Yeah.
did notice that you said it was your first one, and which surprised me. But I guess with your job, that makes sense.
Basically,
You've never been free for it, right?
yeah, well, whenever it's come around and we've gone, oh, we should go, I've always had something booked in that's probably like a bit too much money to cancel and things like that. And
Of
then
course.
this year we just went, right, we're going to go. We've got the tickets forever ago. And then I'm looking forward to it. Although it feels like a controversial year. Like there's lots of people saying they're not going to me because it's not a good enough lineup and things.
Mate, I think it's the best lineup since about 2018. But
Really?
yeah, and I want to really get into this with you, but I thought that the way we could kind of construct this chat is,
Yeah.
I think, at the top, because as I say, like, first comedian on the show,
Yeah, of
which is like
course.
really exciting. And like, to be honest, like the majority of our listeners are based in the States, so it's kind of
Are
like
they?
yeah, so we could kind of like introduce you to
Yeah,
America.
yeah.
You know, I don't know what your audience is like, and if you have much of an audience in the States, but we could
I don't
maybe
think I do.
yeah.
I mean, like looking at my stats, like a very small one. You know?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the UK is our second biggest audience,
Yeah.
but I
Okay.
just
Cool.
think in the
Fine.
in the interest of the Americans listening to this, like maybe we just talk a little bit about your career and what
Yeah, man.
led you to
Happy to. I
here,
will
and then
talk about whatever you want, mate. Honestly,
amazing.
like whatever works for you.
I think that'd be a good way to do it. And then I
Yep.
just like really want to get into music. I think that will kind of come up as we go
Yeah,
through the
let's do
career.
that. We'll just do that.
Just a little bit about your comedy history. Started around the age of 18,
Yeah,
like
I was
doing the
18.
Fringe, that kind of thing.
Pretty much. So I did my first gig at 18 at university, and then I sort of very quickly was doing like open mic nights, new act, new material nights for comedians. Then in 2010, so I was 19, I went up to the Fringe and I did. So when you start comedy in the UK, there are competitions. So when you're a new act, there's loads of them. There's like a student one, and they're sort of big things that you enter, like 500 people enter them, and then there's a final. And I got to the final of, excuse me, I got to the final of loads of those. So
Okay.
the big one is So You Think You're Funny, and that is everyone who's anyone has been in the final of that. So like my year, it was me, Ramesh Ranganathan.
I would say our American listeners
They'll know who
familiar with Rom, at least. I would say, yeah.
Well, and then a guy called Chris Turner, who's just been on the America's Got Talent final. He's like a comedy rapper. So,
oh yes, yeah. I was seeing the clips of that.
Yeah. So we were all, and that was like 2010, and then straight into kind of doing as many comedy nights and new act nights and things, and sort of built up. And then by 20, I was doing it professionally and didn't have another job and was making a full-time living from it.
That's amazing, man. Like that must have been so surreal in those days.
But I think it's probably similar to being in a band in that, like in comedy, it's weird compared to music because people start at all different times in life. So, you've got some very successful comedians who start in their 30s. And so I was starting out with people like Ramesh Ranganathan. I think like Greg Davies, obviously the host of Taskmaster. He was in I think he was 36 or 37 when he did his first gig. So because I was 18 and I had no responsibility and commitment, I could just leather it and really go for it and gig 5 nights a week and, drive up and down the country for barely any money because I didn't have any outgoings because I was living at home. So it made it a much easier way to do it.
Who were like the comedy influencers going into it? It's funny, I do know the answer to some of these from my research, and also your TikTok comes on my hour of every day, so we'll talk about that a little bit in a little bit, but for the purposes of our listeners anyway. So
when I first started out, it was like Russell Howard, who I think is quite known in America as well now, Russell Kane, who's brilliant, who's a very big comedian here. And it was, just whatever I could get my hands on. Like I remember having a Billy Connolly VHS my dad got me, things like that. And then the more I did it, the more I got into all different things. And I just loved all of it. It was what I wanted to do from the age of like 15. I just wanted to be a comedian. And then I started and just went for it, basically. So I've never had a real full-time job. I've just done stand-up. I've done odds and sods, like bits and pieces along the way of like, I've had to temp for a few weeks to pay for car insurance when I was younger. But these days, I've never done a day's work.
That's amazing. So you mentioned like becoming full-time comedian around the age of 20, and then did the kind of the TV work kind of follow shortly after this? Because obviously, judging by your age, I assume like Extra Factor must have been very soon after this. Yeah.
So the X Factor, the talent show, singing show, I hosted the spin-off show. So if you don't know it, in the UK, those shows have like a second show on the second channel of like ITV, and you just basically you go into it. It's like the show for the super fans. And I'd never done any TV. Someone from ITV, their channel, had seen me at a gig in Edinburgh, and someone from Simon Cowell's record label production company which was part of Sony, had seen me at something, and that basically got me in for an audition. And I'd never done anything, like never been on any television, and they gave me the job. I was still living at home with my parents, and it was mad because in the newspapers they were taking odds on, because it was Ollie Murs who was a big success from the show, and they were saying, in the Sun there were odds on who would who would take the job, and I knew I had the job like a few weeks before.
Yeah.
So but it was like when I got it, everyone was like, "Who?" Like I was the closest it could be to being a guy off the street. Basically, I had no experience. I've been doing comedy for 3-4 years, and but what I think happened was because ITV were like, oh, we don't need another host. There was this woman, Caroline Flack, already doing it.
Course,
and then, but then Psycho loved breaking new talent. That was their whole thing as a record label, right? And like they almost saw it like that with me, where they were like, we can give this guy a chance, and that's what they did for that was their bread and butter. So that's what happened. And then I did that, and then started doing loads of random sort of comedy shows, and I've presented all sorts of terrible television shows. Like I'm not bothering any of the awards shows with my output. It's very much things like a game show for hungover people, a show about tattoos, a ghost hunting show, like absolute madness, really.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's been a lot of random stuff.
When the TV work was really full on, was the comedy kind of taking the back seat, or were you kind of still doing the weekend gigs and remaining
pretty
on the
much
circuit?
Yeah, I because there's this weird thing in comedy which I think is very similar to music, in the's a level of credibility that you are desperate to keep, even if your career is taking you off in a slightly different way. I would compare it to Charlie Simpson from Fight Star and President Now. Allegedly.
I was going to say that's not an open thing yet. That's just like we just basically all know it's definitely him, right?
Yeah. We all know it's definitely him.
Yeah.
And I used to do a podcast with someone else in Busted and have had a conversation about it. So we know it's him. But he was in Busted, obviously, but was desperate to be this kind of like credible musician on the front cover of Kerrang, and that just wasn't. And he always wanted that, and he could never shake the Busted thing. So I think I always carried on gigging and doing like weekend clubs and like sort of proper comedy clubs, because especially at my age, lots of the older generation of comedians were like, well, you just wanted to be a TV presenter anyway. That's why you started doing this. So I was determined, and I'm 17 years in now, and I still gig with them, and they all kind of go, oh you've fine. You didn't sack it off for a much better life. And then I've sort of done loads of that over the years. I've done loads of radio as well. So I did Virgin Radio in the UK, which is a thing in Canada and bits of America, I think, as well. But we were like an indie, sort of like an indie mainstream rock station, really. So like lots of Oasis, some Bon Jovi, things like that. And then I did the Drive Time show, and I basically was the little Oasis for... that's pop punk, emo, those kind of bands. Like I would have like Bring Me the Horizon as my record of the week, and then go straight into playing like In Excess, and it was great though, because I basically made it a way I could meet all the bands I loved, and they all used to come on my show. Yeah,
I remember seeing your interview with Hoppus and Skiba, which I guess would have been about 10 years ago, because
9-10 years ago, easily.
Yeah. Because they would have been, I think it was just before California, but they were here to promote that Kingston show they were doing at the time.
Yes, which I also went to. That acoustic show was really cool, man. And it's that weird thing, because like I really loved Alkaline Trio. And obviously I think they've been doing a lot of the mainstream radio here. Like we had to go to some random studio and meet them. And I think, we had to cut it down, but like I wanted to talk to Matt about Alkaline Trio. And I think he was like really pleasantly happy with that, because
I spoke with all the other
when you're doing like the big huge kind of like Radio 1 and stuff, Alkaline Trio aren't on their radar in the same way as Blink. So I did that. Like we had, I think Yumi at 6 came on and did 2 different sessions live. We had All Time Low came on the show and did a live session. We had Jimmy Eat World came on. My favorite interview I ever did and have ever done was Corey Taylor from Slipknot, though.
Oh, really? Really? Yeah. I mean, he's like he's cool charismatic guy. Yeah.
Super charismatic. Like when I understand that when you're being interviewed hundreds of times, it gets really tedious. But he was just super engaged with it, and just like so in the room with it. And also, he's a big he watches loads of British telly, because he's been on some of our comedy panel shows now. He's been on QI.
Yeah.
So it was really cool, because he was like, "Oh, you've been on Nevermind the Buzzcocks, haven't you?" Because he watches it, and I'd done it like maybe a year or 2 before, and I was like, yeah, and he's like, yeah, you're really funny. I was like, oh, thank you very much, Mr. Taylor. He's like really charming, super charming.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
I'm sure if you've done hundreds of these, right, these interviews, you can just tell when someone has got that special extra thing.
100%. Yeah, that's something. Yeah, it's really interesting. You know, we do see that sometimes. Like,
Yeah,
who would I give you as an example of recent ones? Oh, so we did Travie McCoy, who's from Gym Class Heroes.
yeah, I listened to
Uh,
that one.
oh, did you? Oh, thanks,
Yeah,
man. So when he came on, didn't know what to expect, and then as soon as we got on the call with him, he just started talking about Yeovil and what a crazy place, and you feel instantly relaxed
amazing.
with him, and he was just so
Yeah,
charismatic,
and I think as well when people are that level, so especially musicians, I think being that little bit kind of more engaged, people are not going to be relaxed around you, right? Like
Yeah,
and I think of all the people I've interviewed over the years, I find actors are the worst for this. Is when they don't meet you halfway. So, like a
right,
lot of actors
right.
don't want to be doing the media rounds, and
Yeah,
also because with interviews, musicians are very like comedians in that they are selling something they've made. Like comedians are selling a tour, musicians are selling an album or a tour.
sure. Yeah,
Actors, they've already been paid for what they've done. They've
yeah,
already made
yeah,
the thing. It doesn't matter to them how it sells. So
yes,
they are nowhere near. And I think like he really reminded me. So I interviewed Michael Bublé a long time ago, and Corey
yeah,
Taylor and Michael Bublé had a very similar thing where they're just totally in the room. Like everyone who's there gets chatted to, and just a little
yeah,
hello, and like
yeah,
those little things that just I think make an interview better because you're more relaxed, which is a
yeah,
really amazing thing. If you're in a band, I think that skill to learn early is
yeah,
something that will take you a long way.
yeah. I think that's a very good point. Have you had a lot of kind of actors and what have you that you've interviewed in those positions over the years where they
Yeah,
very clearly did not want to be there?
Zac Efron, man. I did Zac Efron for
Really?
a film, and that was
Yeah,
one of those. It was one of the few I've ever done where you go to like a hotel room, the junket
yeah,
things,
yeah, yeah,
and it
yeah.
was him and Lily Collins for the Ted Bundy film he did, and
Okay.
she was great, Lily Collins, but he was just did not want to be interviewed and all that. And you're going, "God, man, I'm just trying to do my job. So
Yeah,
like,
sure.
there's a
Yeah,
way to make this work for everyone. I know you're
yeah,
bored, but
yeah.
oh, and it's that thing of course you're bored because we are threatened with death if we aren't asked anything out of this pre-approved subject.
Of course.
So like
Yeah,
they all moan about being asked the same thing over and over again. You like talk to the publicists because they're the ones telling us what we can and can't say.
yeah. The things you can't touch, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. And then I suppose if someone's like that, it's just going to make you feel uncomfortable in your position. And yeah,
Yeah,
it's just,
exactly. You're just going, oh, I'm just here. It's like he's treating me like I'm an annoying fan, and I'm like, I don't actually like your work that much, mate. You know,
yeah,
like I am not excited to be here with you. Like Lily Collins, I think is cooler because like
yeah,
she's done some really interesting stuff and is just cool and nice, whereas you
yeah,
are
yeah.
just being difficult. But
Right.
it's the creatives, aren't they? They can all be moody pricks,
It's
basically.
true. It's true. I guess we've been, for the most part, very fortunate on this. Like, because I feel
Yeah,
like people, like, I guess it's like what you're saying, like when it's people promoting music they've made, they're
and
keen
also
to
with this
talk about
pod
it.
to an audience that they know. I guess they
Right.
so many bands like Taking Back Sunday going on a mainstream station. You're like, we are doing this for 4 people who are listening to this out of millions. Whereas at least
Right.
on this, you're going, well, the hit rate for our music on here
Yeah.
will be high.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like it's a load of men in their 30s who used to love pop punk and do again now. That's basically it, isn't it?
Exactly. Exactly. And a few of us in our 40s as well, basically.
You're looking
But
good for your
yeah.
40s, mate.
Oh, you're very kind.
Yeah.
Going back to the Virgin thing.
Yes, I was at Virgin 5 years.
Yeah. And I did see you talking about it was potentially because
Yeah, I got
Chris
fired.
Evans was not a fan.
Yeah, if you're listening in America, not that Chris Evans.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Important to clarify that. Yeah.
A sort of broadcast. I don't know who you'd compare him to in America, really. Like, I mean, probably like not the same generation, but like a Letterman, like sort of ubiquitous household name from the 90s.
Kind of. Yeah.
He had a
that's
big
fair.
Friday night chat show. He
Yeah.
was on, Radio 1, then Radio 2, and then he moved to Virgin Radio, which was
Yeah.
complicated because he used to own it and then sold it years ago. So he came back and did not like me at all. So the first time I met him, we all had to go for a curry with him. And I mean, not to say he was a prick, but I went to order it and I was like, I'll have a tikka masala. I don't eat loads of spicy food. Like, I'm not that bothered. And he was like,
Yeah.
no. And I'm like,
Oh, really?
Yeah, and very quickly was like, everyone's ordering this spicy thing. I want them to. And you're like, okay. And then when I met him, when we were chatting, I went, oh, it's really nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. And he just went, oh, yeah, you're Matt, aren't you? I've never met anyone who does stand-up and radio and does them both well.
Just off the bat like that.
Off the bat like that. And like, this man is like, worth 80 million quid, right? I am not bothering his career at all. I was 26, 27, and like that's the first thing out of his mouth. And then basically the radio station had gone from offering me a 2-year contract 2 weeks before, and they turned around and went, oh, it's just not really working. And I went, I'd won an award at the group of radio stations of like presenter of the year, and they're like, oh, it's just not working. And they would never tell me why. But my boss, who I was really chummy with, went, oh, it's because of Chris, basically. And they just managed me out for 6 months. It was absolutely horrendous. It just made my life miserable. And then they got rid of me, but they bought me out my contract, so that made it a bit easier.
Fair enough.
That was fine. And yeah.
What was the career move after? I mean, obviously the stand up still happening, but did you move into another kind of radio or TV thing after the?
I did. So I did bits and pieces, but the thing is, like that job. So that was 5 days a week. I had never done anything like that. It was the closest. It's the closest in entertainment to a full-time job, radio, because you're in every day. So I went back to gigging a bit. I'd sort of not been in the clubs loads because I was doing 5 days a week on the radio, so I couldn't travel as much. And then what happened was that was in the July, and I went to the Edinburgh Fringe the next day to go and do a show up there for a month, which I was going to do anyway and do my show from up there. And then I was gigging in the autumn, and then lockdown happened. The next March, we were all locked up for a year. So it meant that I didn't sort of have a run at it, really. I just kind of started to get back into the groove, and then we all stopped.
By the way, I meant to say at the top of this, but I missed it, so apologies for that. But you mentioned how you got married recently. You got married at the top of this year, so congrats on that. Yeah. How was the wedding? Big wedding?
Great, man. Yeah, well, we did it. So small ceremony, and then we went to a restaurant. We didn't even do like a big wedding venue. Went to a restaurant for lunch with our families, and then had a big party in the evening. And just had like a DJ and a pizza truck and a bar, and like it was great fun.
Sounds perfect. How much of the kind of music that you and I are into that this podcast covers? How much of that were you allowed to kind of? Because obviously at a wedding you've kind of got to cater,
So look, we kept it on the lighter end. So lots of what I had though was I had a pop punk power hour, where I was allowed I had a chunk where it was like Fat Lip, all the classics you'd get, all the Blink ones, Green Day, things like that. But our first dance was To Bring Me the Horizon. Our first dance was Follow You.
Nice.
Yeah, which we thought was a nice, because my wife and I both love Bring Me. She's loved them since she was a teenager. I am like a recent convert over the last couple of years. Okay. They really passed me, like I sort of played them a bit of Virgin, actually. So like, what was it? Mantra. When Mantra came out, that was my record of the week, and I really liked that. Yeah. But it's that weird thing when you're listening to music 3 hours a day for work. I didn't listen to loads of music for a long time because I was just like, I'm listening. And you're listening to the same fucking songs every day. But I sort of totally missed that. And then it was when their latest album came out. I sort of heard 10 Statues That Cried Blood. And do you know that black guy that does like reacting to music he's never heard? Have you seen him? I forget his name. He's brilliant though. I really like him. And he was, a video of his came up, and it was that, and I went, "Oh, that's a really good song." And then now I'm like, you know what it's like, the convert, the zealot of the convert. I am now like the biggest Bring Me the Horizon fan because I'm making up for lost time.
Fair enough.
So we saw them. We went to Reading to see them this year. Well, last year, which was great. They were brilliant. And then, I've seen them again this year in Krakow, which would be great.
On the subject of festivals, we teased Slam Dunk before, so going for the first time this year.
Yeah, very excited.
Yeah, so you'd say like a lot of people have been negative about the lineup. How do you feel about the lineup? Like, what's on there that you're? You
know what? It's one of those where I think it's a really good lineup because there is not a moment in the day. Now they've sent out the stage times. There isn't a moment in the day where there's something I don't want to see. Yeah. And I think that's key to a really good lineup, isn't it? Like, it's the same as when I book I run a comedy club as well. I've got a night where I live, where I run it. We do like 4 of them a year, and you want everyone to leave with a different favorite. That's always the key, I think. Like if you're doing a lineup show, and it's the same. I book a big charity gig in Oxford near where I live, and every time I do it, I'm happy when all of my mates who go to it go, "Oh, I loved that one," and someone else loves someone else. So I think people who are moaning, but like there is not a moment of that day that I'm not planning on seeing someone, even if it's someone that's like, you know, I like a song or two. Rather than, you know, something, you know, like I know loads of it. So hang on, I'm just getting the lineup up actually.
Do it.
But yeah, it's what are you going to South?
I think because we do press at Slam Dunk. I think.
Fine.
I think we might be doing. I'm definitely doing South, but I might be doing both.
Oh, really?
Potentially. Obviously, that's going to be a bit of a hassle. But if I can, I'll go up to North as well. Because my co-host is based in Newcastle, so he's only doing North, particularly with the new baby and stuff. So yeah, so I'm either going to just do South or do both, basically.
Yeah, man. Because like, you know, so I'm really excited to see Hawthorne Heights.
Oh,
I've never seen them before, and like I had a real Hawthorne Heights phase, and I've been like back at like since we got the tickets, I've been listening to a lot of Hawthorne Heights. Some of it is a little bit repetitive. Like there was a couple of albums that sort of, you know, could be interchangeable, but like it's so of its time, and
it's very of its time,
and it's so kind of like, you know, the lyrics and stuff, I think are just like, I remember listening to them at like 15 being like, this is the deepest shit I have ever heard. I used to feel like that with
for lovers.
Yeah, you know, exactly. I used to feel like that with Cute Is What We Aim For as well. I remember the first time, what was in that, what was their big song? What was their big song?
What is it?
What You Got Now, gotta give it up. That one. It's called. But there's a lyric in it which is like talkative and provocative, and it's all this. And I'm like, I remember being 15, being like, this guy is a poet. It was sort of like, you know, in that Fall Out Boy way of like these kind of like wordplay in lyrics and things like that. And I think there's none of that. Like Hawthorne Heights don't really have that quite that level of lyrical thinking. It's more just like, what is the saddest thing I can say?
Have you seen the Cute Is What We Aim For bassist has kind of been doing lots of podcasts and stuff, and he's been talking. Well, I watched one of them, and he was quite candid, like about problems with the lead singer, who, by all accounts, doesn't sound like the nicest man in the world.
Oh, really?
I've heard that from people I know who've toured with them back in the day as well. But
it's really interesting, that, isn't it? Because there's I think in this scene there is a lot of that where like they're not household names by any stretch, and they're not even like, you know, selling huge places, and yet they've got this kind of micro level of super fame where the audience are so engaged into them that it sends them all insane.
Exactly. But this bassist, the bit that kind of got clipped and went viral a little bit is like, he was basically, because they got signed the same time as Paramore, both on Fueled by Ramen. He was saying like, we were as good as Paramore. Actually, we were better at that time, blah, blah. You know, he's kind of saying not now, obviously, but that's kind of what's been attracting a lot of attention.
I don't know, man. That kind of first Paramore album with Emergency on is better than Cute Is What We Aim For's album was a lot of filler. Like, I'm not saying I didn't like it. I've been to see Cute Is What We Aim For live. They did a double header tour with Boys Like Girls I went to. And Boys Like Girls were the better live band as well.
Really?
Like Boys Like Girls, like, I don't know. Like, I just found them, I guess they're a bit more mainstream as well, and a bit more kind of like have a bit more crossover appeal. But yeah, it's interesting that, isn't it? That's like me, like with these comedians, and it does happen in comedy, right? Where you start out with someone and you go, like, there's this old guy on the circuit, really old, bitter American guy in the UK, and Sean Walsh, when Sean Walsh, who was a very successful comedian here, was blowing up. Anytime you went into a dressing room with him, he's like, I've never had a worse gig than him. And you're like, it's not necessarily what it's about, mate. Yeah, your album might have been better, but people connected with them in a different way. Like, it's really like that kind of it could have happened for us thing is really common in music and comedy.
Yeah, makes sense. Going back to Hawthorne Heights, though, that's cool. Only downside of that for you, in my opinion, is that you'll be they clash with Driveways, who are a new band. Who I'm a bit biased because we're friends with them, but they're so good. Like Mark Hoppus is obsessed with them, and they're just kind of.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're on this trajectory that's just been going up and up, and there's just something about them
Maybe we'll go
but-
and see them then. Look, maybe I can just look. As long as I see Saying Sorry, I'll be absolutely fine.
That's a good. That if I was going to listen to a Hawthorne Heights song, it would be that one. That was
It is a
better than the
great
things on the
song.
album before.
Yeah. It's
great chorus.
that is their big good song, really. That's interesting because like there are lots of bands there that I asked online on TikTok and stuff about who I should go and see.
Yeah,
and it's already there are bands that I've been listening to and gone, I'm going to have to swap that out for that now. Like Beauty School, I've been really enjoying.
Oh, yeah. Again, that we know them through friends of friends, and they were just grinding for years and years, and they've just got bigger and bigger. But Slam Dunk Records have always looked after them, and now they're on the main stage, which is so cool.
Oh yeah, so like they're like I'm really glad I asked because otherwise I'm terrible now at a festival, and I don't know if this is an age thing of going. I'm just going to go and see the people I know. I'm not going to go and try anything. And I think with this one, I've been trying them. And actually the Slam Dunk playlist on Spotify and stuff's been good to just go, oh yeah, these are really cool. Like, I love Stand Atlantic, so I'm going to go and see them.
Yeah.
I've liked them since, weirdly, Pink Elephant, their album, which was in I heard it in lockdown.
Yeah.
I was listening to a lot of new music in lockdown.
That one with like Jurassic.
On it. All those. Like, and I really liked that, but I think they're really good. It's interesting, isn't it? Because I think them and actually, but the other one, the other Australian band,
Tonight Alive.
Tonight Alive, who've been sort of like Tonight Alive. I remember getting their album in 2013.
Yeah,
I remember really liking them in 2013 when I was on the Extra Factor, and like I tweeted about them, being like, "Oh, I love this band are great." And then in the tweet, I think I put, if their singer is ever looking for a husband, I'd be interested. And she just replied back going, "I think I'm fine."
Oh no, really?
I guess. Well, because also I guess it was that kind of thing where it's like if I was just a normal person by that point, still she wouldn't have seen it, but I had a blue tick, so
exactly.
I was like, oh god, and that's still one of my memories when I fall asleep is just that reply. Those little horrific moments in your life that when your brain just before you fall asleep goes, remember that.
You're clearly just it's harmless.
I'm sort of light-hearted.
Joke. I was clearly light-hearted. She could have just put a laughing emoji or something.
She's like, I'm fine, thanks. So I want to see them, but I feel like those sorts of bands that have never quite hit into the mainstream, even though they've got a real, a great singer with a real pop sensibility, have sort of paved the way for a great Oxford band, South Arcade, who are obviously doing incredibly well.
Yeah, dude. My experience with them was a few years ago because I kind of I manage bands on the side. It's not my day job. It's just like my little side hustle. Like this is So I'd been managing bands for a couple of years, and I think we'd put some stuff on the Wasting Time. We'd done Press at 2,000 Trees or something, and then this band South Arcade followed me. They were new, didn't have that many followers, and just sent me a few messages, and I just I replied politely, but I was just like, this is not my kind of thing. I've got no interest in this. And now, if you look at them now, it's
could have been your millions.
Insane. Exactly.
You know what? So I saw them in November. We went to see them with my wife in Birmingham. They were brilliant live.
What level in Birmingham would they have been? Was that the O2 Institute, something like that?
O2 Institute, and it was packed.
Yeah.
They did the Kentish Town Forum. Yeah, and it's really interesting because I didn't realise they were local to me until basically this is really like a really random story, but they were putting up videos of them in the rehearsal room.
Yeah.
I remember watching it going, I know that place. And when I joined a radio station in Oxford, I was there for like 9 months before it got bought. And And that's where we did the photo shoot. And I was like, that's the Green Room Studios in Whitney in Oxford. I was like, what are they doing there? And they're called South Arcade after a little road in Oxford. So, they're doing very well. They're the kind of band you go, they're at a really interesting point now where you go, this could either be the start of you being the first kind of huge arena band of that generation, or, like those bands are really interesting, aren't they? Like Acute is what we aim for. Where is this going to go? Because they don't even have an album yet.
Yeah, exactly.
But I thought live, they were very impressive. And I saw someone online talking about it, being like, oh, I'm not going because I saw them 3 years ago and like they weren't that great. And they've clearly worked very hard on it.
Yeah. It's like
a very slick show.
I saw Tobin from Hopeless Records, who they head up a tour called Summer School Tour in the States
Yeah.
that Adobe runs as well. And Summer School, South Arcade are on it this coming year. But I saw Tobin talking about them, and he's just like, "What's the thing about them is like they've created their own genre almost, you know." And
Yeah,
that's
man.
kind of
Because when we went there, it was like, it's really weird because there was like quite a few of us there. Like there was definitely like people in their 30s and 40s who like, these are kind of like this kind of vaguely retro, but they're sort of throwing back to something that didn't really exist, which I think is really interesting. Like like, you know, it's even like their branding and all that is like, it's sort of a pastiche of what it was like. And it was never like that, you know, like this kind of like mid 2000s vibe. And, but yeah, a lot of their audience are not who you would see at a show like that. And it's not like they were quite heavy live as well. Like they've really gone for it, you know, like it wasn't like they've cleaned it up and tried to make it poppy and accessible. They lean more into that live, I would say. And yet they were loving it. I think there'll be a band that get a lot of teenagers into this kind of music. Yeah. They're going to be like the gateway band of this, you know, like the Fall Out Boys and your Panic at the Discos potentially, that, you know, people like them and then get into everything else.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see that.
They're really, really exciting though. But yeah, obviously I think they did it last year. But yeah, those sorts of bands, that female fronted thing was just so unusual until about 5 years ago.
So true. Yeah.
And it feels like this genre is perfect for it because of the high vocals.
Yeah, very true. Yeah.
And because look, I love Taking Back Sunday, and I know they're on the lineup, and you know, Adam can't hit those notes as much anymore live, unfortunately.
They're kind of notorious for not being the best live band, aren't they?
Yeah, I saw them at the Kentish Town Forum actually a couple of years ago, and I had a great time. Like it was so good. It was chaos. But yeah, it wasn't fantastic. Like by that point of the day, I don't plan on being able to remember much. So But yeah, I think you know, someone else like online when I was talking about it, they were like, "Oh no, there's no point going to see them." I'm like, it's not about that though, is it? It's about this kind of like vague feeling. Like they were on at the first gig I ever went to when I saw Green Day at Milton Keynes Bowl, and it was Hardfire, Taking Back Sunday, Jimmy Eat World were the support acts.
It's random that Hardfire in there, but
I know. Well, it's, you know why that is? It's because Simple Plan couldn't come over. Something had happened. So they had to draft any band in.
I see, okay.
And then weirdly, Hardfire then blew up for a while, didn't they? They sold like 1 million albums.
They had a moment, definitely.
Yeah. Real indie landfill kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. What about... sorry.
Go on. Sorry, no, you first.
What about Good Charlotte? Obviously the headline. Have you seen them live before?
Never seen Good Charlotte. So my wife, I would say of the two of us, is more of a Good Charlotte fan, but I really like Good Charlotte. So I'm very excited to see them. I don't know, do they still tour a lot?
They not as much as they used to. They go through phases where they'll do a bit of a run. Like last year, they did like loads of festivals in the States, and I think they hadn't toured for a long time prior to that, so they have these massive breaks. But they're doing a bit more this year, though. I think
it's really interesting, isn't it? Because I guess I remember being a teenager and thinking, why are Guns N' Roses playing Reading? And these bands are now Guns N' Roses. You know, not to the level, but you're going and going, oh, this, like, they're doing all these gigs again because they're getting booked as a heritage act. So I guess the money's better because they've got this kind of like, you know, there's a throwback element, and like their audience has only grown with, you know, Spotify playlists and whatever else. Like, you know, it's really interesting. I'm very excited to see them because they were someone I was snobby about when I was younger.
Yeah, well, it's funny because you know, as we said, because I think you're born 91, whereas I'm born 82, and like so when they came along, I guess. Like I discovered them maybe 2000. That was the year I turned 18, and I was just, I guess I got it, and it worked for me. But like there was a lot of snobbiness about them in the scene, you know, particularly with people a little bit younger than me. So
totally, like for me, Good Charlotte were almost like they were a step too close to Busted.
Right. Yeah.
And like McFly, you know, they were like, it really felt like they were on that much poppier end of it in a way that, I think actually I was guilty, and this is to do with the lineup. I remember Boston Manor, and I felt like that about Boston Manor because they opened for McFly years ago, who are almost like a manufactured band in the UK. They're not, but they feel like that end of it, right? And they're a very good musical band, but they were for 12-year-old girls, basically.
Right.
They were
right.
I've interviewed them over the years. They're really nice lads. I've met them socially, and they're into the same music as us. But they were your first band kind of thing, your entry level. And then and I felt like Good Charlotte were that.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's in my head. That's what they were, especially when, because I first got into it, and I think my first big breakthrough was American Idiot for me. Like I remember hearing my friend Heather, who was really into rock music. Her dad was, and her brother. And I was like, I'm not interested. I wasn't bothered about any music really when I was like 13. And then I heard that, and that was like a game changer. And I became Green Day obsessed. Like I wouldn't listen to Blink-182 for a year and a half because that felt like
you were so
the wrong side. I was so
see.
Green Day, and I was like, I'm not interested. No thanks. I don't need anything else. And then very quickly got into like the slightly more kind of like Under Oath, and sort of I went screamo quite quick. And then so people like Good Charlotte, for me, I was like, oh, they're a pop band. Yeah. But they have got, but which now I look back and I go, well, yeah, because their songs are really good. That's why you think they're a pop band, is because they can write a tune. And I think over the years, I've gotten much more into them, actually. And like some of their newer stuff, I still think is pretty decent. They've kind of kept it up in an all right way. So I think like, their later bits are pretty good. So
yeah. Like the album they had last year's got a few decent songs on it.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like they're just churning it out for the sake of it.
No. Yeah. And I will say, they're not my favorite band, but like in terms of live show in this type of music, I might put them maybe at the top.
Really?
Yeah. Not to, big it up too much for you, but in my experience,
They also, they're one of those bands, as we've been like, going, oh, we need to listen to loads and see what we want to go and see. They've got way more tunes than you remember.
Yes.
They're ones that you know so many more of their songs than you think you did. Like, actually, they had loads of hits. So I'm really looking forward to them. The one that I've recently discovered that I am shamefully late on is State Champs.
Oh, okay.
Like I have like in the last couple of months, like, because I'd heard a few bits and quite liked them. I'm like all in. I'm very excited to see them. I think they'll be really fun.
I can, I've seen them many times, and they're always a fun live show, and good guys as well. We just released a video on our socials the other day with we've done several things with them over the years, but we were working the festival in America, and Evan, the drummer, came and did a bit on Blink for us. So
quality!
Shout out to the State Champs boys. Yeah, they're
they seem really cool, and I really like a load of their stuff. So I've been listening to loads of that. But I'm just looking forward to kind of. I've sort of really in my 30s like gotten into it. It feels like this sort of music. I've always listened to it, but like going to gigs and stuff, I didn't do for a long time because I work evenings, and it's only the last sort of 2 or 3 years that I've started going again because I can afford to take a Saturday night off and things like that from gigging. Whereas there was a big, especially out of COVID, I was like, I just need to work as much as I can because like comedy in the clubs is like, it's you make decent money, but it's not life-changing gigging money like bands when they get to a certain level. It's a normal salary. So I've started going to loads more. So like I've been to, my brother loves Yumi at 6, so I took my brother to Yumi at 6. He's more of an
Weybridge boys, by the way.
Weybridge boys. I had lunch with Josh a week ago. I know Josh really well. Yeah, Josh.
Nice.
So Josh, Matt, and Max, I'm really chummy with because I did a TV show with them over here, and basically decided I'd make them my friends.
Nice, good work.
So I met them. We had a really good laugh, and then they came on my radio show a few times, and then I used to go. One of the joys of radio, like doing this, you get tickets. So I used to go to all their shows, and then go to a load of their shows, and we just sort of became friends. So like Matt and Josh both came to see me on tour and things like that, which is really cool. And I had to go very different size venues, lads. So the ones you're playing. Like I appreciate that. Like it's 150 seater. Like there's not much of a green room to hang out in afterwards. But like so I went to see them a couple of years ago out of COVID, and they were really good in Oxford. But I did my brother's quite a lot bit younger than me, so he was with his mates, and I was stood at the back with the dads.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was one of the first moments where you're like,
you've entered that phase. Yeah.
The only other time I felt like that is I went to see Youngblood, and I felt like a dad. I went to Youngblood. My wife loves Youngblood.
Really? Where do you stand on Youngblood?
I really like him. So we went to his festival he did in Milton Keynes. Like he did this one dayer, and the tickets were really reasonable. Like it was all. I really like him. I don't think his songs are good enough.
Interesting. Okay.
So like I find, to begin with, actually, like I found, like I was like, it's like a theatre school kid playing a rock star.
Right. Yeah.
Was my first impression. I was like, it feels like I'm dead mad me, I'm rock and roll. And then we went to see him. He is like, he's proper, like he's a great performer. You know, he knows what he's doing. I don't think he's got any absolute belters. Like, I don't think his songs are bad, but he has never had a song that you go, well, that's the one that's the breakthrough into something else.
Thinking about it, because, you know, I don't pay a lot of attention to him, but I've heard many of his songs over the years, but I can't really think of one of his songs in this conversation.
You know what? I went in, I wasn't that bothered about going. You know, I didn't dislike him, but then we went and I left more of a fan. And then I listened to his latest stuff and I was like, God, I'm desperate for you to give me something to enjoy. And and it's all still a bit passable for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
But he's like, he is that, you know, that he's obviously watched, you know, Freddie Mercury, Billy Joe Armstrong, like he's, you know, Steve Tyler, like he's clearly studied how to be this amazing frontman, and it's worked. But I just found there's not any songs you're excited
just
about.
Hasn't got the songs. Yeah,
that's my opinion on it anyway. But other people do disagree. He's a very successful man, and like he came into my life a bit more because, like, I shamelessly, and I'm interested to see what you think. I love Machine Gun Kelly's pop punk stuff.
I've seen. Where did I hear you say that? I think you were on what's Spencer Matthews' partner called?
Jamie Lang.
No, his wife.
Vogue.
Wife.
Yeah, Vogue Williams.
I listened to you on her podcast.
Oh, did you?
I think you mentioned him on that.
Yeah, because now the weird thing with Machine Gun Kelly is now somehow he's made the rap fans hate him and the rock fans, and because his new album is dog shit. Like, it's terrible. Like, I do not enjoy it.
I don't know what they were thinking with that Third Eye Blind sampling as well on one of the songs.
But it's just like, it's not. I say it's not fair to call it dog shit. Like, you know, I hate when people review me badly, but it's just nothing. Like, there's nothing great. Whereas those first two, when he went into that genre, I really liked them.
Yeah,
I listened to those on repeat.
I was really into them as well. So I'm kind of with you. What I will say is that I didn't find that they had much staying power. So like I kind of listened to them loads when they came out, and then didn't really go back to them. And I subsequently haven't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Apart from maybe the odd song, a lot of it was.
There's some crackers. I went to see him actually at Wembley Arena, and it was a good live show. And then I think with this album, we looked at going again. The tickets were astronomical, and I was just like, oh, if it's going to be this album is a lot of it, then I'm not really.
It's not worth
spend my money.
Yeah.
So obviously he does loads with Youngblood. So like that's when I was first like, oh, Youngblood, like sort of aware of him. But my wife absolutely loves Youngblood.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know, and I do think Youngblood's friendship with Ollie Sykes was sort of damaging to Ollie's image for a bit. When they were like doing, do you remember in lockdown they'd do these like fancy dress videos? You know, like the transitions. You'd be like, come on, man, you're one of the best looking and coolest men on the planet. What are you playing at?
What are you doing?
You're in your 30s.
One thing that did make me chuckle in that, I think it was in that interview, and you randomly mentioned how you find Beyonce overrated, which is something. I don't get it. Which is something I hugely relate to. You know, I have.
Do you not into Beyonce?
No, God, no, I don't get it at all. Yeah,
once again, no, she's got no hits anymore.
Exactly. Like, in my opinion, Taylor Swift has hits. You know, she's kind of like the obvious comparison is like the other huge superstar. Whereas Beyonce, the songs aren't there for me, you know? I don't get
and then you go, well, we don't look, there's no single because it's a conceptual album. And you're like, fuck off then. Like, you can't, you know what I mean? Like, the bands that have done conceptual like, you know, American Idiot and Welcome to the Black Parade still got bangers on them, and they're conceptual albums. Come on, Beyonce. You need to get yourself to their shows. Yeah, I don't get it. And I think it's just, you know, I wouldn't go if I was given free tickets.
Same. Well, I always think, and like I've posed this question to people, or I've wanted them to ask me it, like how much money would I want transferred into my bank account to go and see Beyonce, like at the O2 or something? So, you know, you've got to leave your house. I've got to travel from Weybridge into London, get over to Greenwich, like on the Saturday night. I wouldn't do that for free. Obviously, I'm just like, what level of
No.
money do I want? I think I'd do it for I'd do it for £1,000.
Yeah,
Anything
because like
anything less than
absolutely.
that, I'm not sure.
There's there's a big old house near me, and they do like Blenheim Palace, and they do these really amazing live shows. They've had like Lionel Richie and people. If Beyonce
Yeah.
was there, I live 7 miles away. If she was there,
Right.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
take £1,000. I just would rather have my evening.
Fair.
Like even if they're
Fair.
like, we will whisk you in, I'll be like, I'm fine,
Yeah.
thanks. I'd rather not see her. Yeah, and there's I think that sort of stuff. I do really like you. I really like some of Taylor Swift stuff. Like I'm not a snob when it comes to this sort of thing. Like people
Yeah.
occasionally can be. I'm very happy to listen to loads of it, but yeah, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
you know what? It's not for me, and that's okay. That's what I'm trying to do as an adult now, and I do it with comedians because there's loads of comedians who are doing very well and I think are rubbish.
Well, yeah, exactly, because
I have to
comedy is
just go-
just as subjective as
I have
music,
to go,
isn't it?
It's not because I want to go, they're rubbish. Same with bands, and now I have to go, it isn't for me.
Exactly.
And I'm telling myself more than I'm telling anyone else.
I'm
It's
not
not
going.
for you, and that's okay.
I'll not make you share any of the comedians' names because that might be a bit.
I'm happy to tell you. I've
Oh,
already
go on
upset
then,
one.
go on.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can tell, like, but it's things like. So this obviously is a podcast with, you say, an American audience, right? There's a lot of Americans who listen. I think there are some brilliant American comedians, like the Bill Burrs of the world. People like that are phenomenal comics. There are a lot of comedians who've gotten successful off the back of podcasts in America over the last 5 years who are not very good comedians, but they have got massive followings. And I watch their stand-up and I think, how are you a millionaire? So like,
Right.
I really like Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee, right? I think their podcast is brilliant. It's a bit too long, but it's brilliant.
What's it called again?
Best Friends or Bad Friends.
That's it. Bad Friends.
Yeah, Bad Friends.
Yeah.
I think they're on at 4:45. Slam Dunk Bad Friends. It sounds like the kind of band you'd have, doesn't it?
It does.
And I've seen both their stand up. Yeah, they're not very good.
Not the best
for me. And look, and they've got a following. They've got a fan base. Good for them.
Yeah.
It's not for me. Like, but
Exactly.
I don't enjoy it. And there's a lot of that Andrew Schultz, people like that in America. I just don't.
Yeah, I wondered if you'd mentioned his name when you were going down this path. Yeah,
but you know what? It's funny because like there's a big comedian here called Adam Rowe. He's got a massive podcast. Have a word.
Yeah.
And I really like Adam.
Scouse guy, right?
Scouse guy. He loves. We've had an argument before where he's like, we in a green room, not like a serious one, but he was like, there's no British comedian better than an American comedian. And I was like, I'm sorry, some of the greats are American, but our mid-level, so our level of like comedians who play the clubs up to like 2,000 seaters, that level in America is mostly rubbish, and our level is really good. Like, is mostly good. But he loves, like, they've had Andrew Schultz on their podcast, and he was like, like, who was he? Shane Gillis. He loves Shane Gillis, which is fair. And and I think Shane Gillis is like, I don't think he's bad.
He's not. Yeah, he's all right. Yeah.
I much prefer Tom Segura, who I think is really good. Of those lot, I think he's the best one. And he was like, "You're wrong," and I'm like, "Well, I'm not wrong though, am I? It's just we have different taste, which is
exactly."
And it was just this thing. He's going, "No, you can't. You have to like Shane Gillis." I was like, "It just doesn't do it for me, man. I'm really sorry."
Yeah, exactly.
It's okay. We're allowed to like different things. He's into country music. We didn't even get into that, but you know,
really. What other comedians do you bond over this kind of music with?
So there are a few of us. Sean Walsh is a massive Blink fan.
Yeah, sure. We had him booked actually a few months ago, and then he was.
Did you?
We did. Then he was ill, and to be fair, you can see from his social media he was ill.
Yeah, man, he loves talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
We've been to see Blink together, actually. Like,
have you? Okay.
Yeah, on that tour in 2017, 2018. You know, the California tour. Me and Sean went together.
Yeah. Okay.
So Sean is mega into this stuff. There's a few others. There's a guy called a guy who's one of the main writers on SNL UK, James Farmer. He's like he's not a stand-up, but he's a brilliant comedy writer. Our whole friendship, I don't know anything about his life, but we text each other bands.
Amazing.
Like, that's all we talk
James
about.
Farmer, okay.
Yeah, James Farmer, he's really cool. And then, but it's weird, right? I feel like people really turn their nose up at me because of my music taste. They'll be like, "Oh, Matt's got shit music taste." I'm like, I don't think I do. It's just
I certainly don't think you
exactly.
do. Yeah.
It's that weird oh my God, everyone loves Radiohead in comedy. And you're just like, oh, get over yourselves. I'm not, cool, I couldn't, music. Not for me. Once again, it's not for me. I went to the same primary school as two of Radiohead. Still not for me. They're local boys to me. And the Greenwoods, one of them just got nominated for an Oscar, didn't he?
He did.
Fucking yeah. Bit more of that in Radiohead next time, mate.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think it is. There's this weird sort of like negativity to any of this music still. I find with people my own age and not like all my friends who are real musos find me really amusing that I'm into it still.
Yeah. I think in a way though, for me, that makes this kind of music a bit more appealing because it's almost like I know it's alternative music and that can mean anything, but it does feel like it's alternative in that respect, you know?
Yeah, totally. But what I find is if, say, we're in the car together or anywhere, like my friends who are into, and, you know, we do have some crossover. Like I've got like one of my best mates who's into like, you know, Radiohead and all that stuff and John Mayer and whatever. We've been to see Green Day together. And he loves Green Day. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Fine. We can do that. But the other side, we'll be listening to, something will come on at some point. Or like he came to a show of mine and my pre-show playlist is all this. I walk on stage to Kingslayer by Bring Me. Like this is like, it's very much my comedy show is steeped in. And he'll always go, this is an absolute shit. Like he'll be texting me in the audience going, what song is this? This is great. And I'm like, it's all really good. Because there's such a pop sensibility to it all that means it's way more accessible than you think.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it is. I do feel a bit of me though is like going to like Slam Dunk and Reading. Like there was a conversation in my house over whether I'm going to get a fake nose ring for it, and I think
I saw you mention that on one of your videos. I think
my wife and I were talking about it. My mum and dad used to go to like 80s nights and would dress up as the 80s, and I go, oh, that's what this is now. Yeah, that's basically what we're doing.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, we're all going to go in our skinny jeans and our Vans.
Why not lean into it?
Yeah, exactly.
Matt, I'm conscious we've been talking for
over
an hour. So you know, I don't want to keep you for too long, but before we wrap this up, just like a couple more things, if that's cool with.
Yeah, man, I'm in no rush. It's a Monday evening. I've got nothing to do.
Appreciate that. I'm just conscious we haven't really talked about the TikTok thing that's been happening for you recently.
Oh yeah, so
obviously I mentioned it at the top.
Yeah. So for many people that don't know, have sort of accidentally become a TikToker by talking about my failed career, basically, and like, well, I mean, I'm being glib. It's basically the way it started was very boring. Quick story. I turned on the telly between Christmas and New Year, and it was on a show called The Best 80s Movie Moments, like a talking head kind of countdown show. And I was watching it for 2 minutes, and then I was on it. And I remember, and I didn't put it on going, I think I'm on this one. I was like, what? I don't remember doing this. So I did a video going, this is what it's like being a Z-lister. You know, you don't even know when you're on things and you've made so many terrible little TV things. Because they were my bread and butter for years doing those. And then people just ask questions. They're like, how much do you get paid? Like, how do they do it? Do you get the clips in advance? And I just started answering people's questions. And then people started asking more and more things about comedy and things like, why do you think you never made it huge? And sort of all these things. And I just started answering them as honestly as I could. And it's just sort of carried on for the last 3 months. I've sort of sit and make 5 to 10 TikToks every morning now. That's the first thing I do. And then, you know, talk about all this stuff and like comedy and like, you know, I talk about like SNL UK and sort of give my opinion on things. But I don't think I'm not being rough, but people keep asking me, they're like, do you think you're going to get blackballed because of this? I'm like, I think I've been blackballed anyway by television, the way they're booking me. Like, they can't book me less than they are. So let's just do this. And it's just become this wild thing. And like, I get people at every show now coming going, oh, we've come because we follow you on TikTok. And I've had like
that's amazing.
35 million views in the last 3 months.
That's so cool. And at the time of recording, I think you're just about to hit 100K followers.
Just about, yeah. So when I started off at 40, like I was at 40 when all this started. So like that was 3 months ago, pretty much 12 weeks. So it's been really nice. But what's been nice is over the years of the kind of TV I've done stuff that doesn't necessarily promote you as a comedian. Like I've done lots of presenting, and you know, I've been on a show in the UK listeners know, Dancing on Ice, which is it's like Dancing with the Stars, but you're ice skating as well.
Yep.
Those things don't sell tickets, whereas all of a sudden I'm talking about stuff and people are coming to shows. So it's really exciting. And like, I'm doing a show in London. Please come along by all means if you can in June where that's
it's early June, isn't it? I think.
2nd of June. But you're more than welcome to come. It's like, I was on tour. So I finished my tour in November and then this then happened, which was really frustrating.
Yeah.
Like, because people are going, can I come to Sheffield? And I'm going, we pulled Sheffield.
Yeah. Right,
Sold
right.
19
Yeah,
tickets in Sheffield. We
yeah,
weren't
yeah,
coming. Whereas
yeah,
now, it's sort of just this one show as an experiment to see if people will come. But what's been nice as well is people have started asking about music and things like that. So a lot of people now follow me who are into the same music as me, because I was always working on like pop TV shows. It
yeah.
was never known. And I've worked on, Virgin
Sure.
was like, like an absolute S kind of radio station, which is
Right.
sort of
Yeah, yeah.
Oasis plus. So it's really nice that all of a sudden now it's like, oh, so I can chat to people about music online, which has been really nice. And even
Yeah.
putting up videos about Slam Dunk, I've had all these recommendations and people going, oh my God, we're going to be at that. And, if your wife wants to see them, come to us with this. And it's just been really
Yeah.
lovely. And I think
Yeah.
like,
It's
I'm almost like a lot of these bands in that lots of people that have started following me go, I remember you from my late teens and early 20s.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then now they're kind of like reconnecting with me, which has been really fun.
It's so cool, man. It's like you're building up a
Yeah.
little community within this,
Because like we started talking just as it was sort of happening, really.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
sounds
That's
about
when we
right.
were sort of talking about like booking
Yeah.
in, and then it's just
Yeah.
sort of it's gone from strength to strength. It does skew your life though, like because now you get very into, oh well, that video, I've not had as good a day today as I did yesterday, and all
I
that. Like
bet. Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
made me
yeah.
mad, which I don't love.
Right. Right. You'd be
But
like, why has this one not had as many
yeah,
views?
yeah, that's great. And then there's bits
Yeah.
where you go, that like I watched the Manosphere documentary, the Louis Theroux one.
Yeah, I
and
watched
I was
that the other
going,
week. Yeah.
and like they were, all the rage bait they do and all this and the extreme stuff.
Yeah.
And I was going, yeah, I feel that for the clout, man. Yeah. I'm before you know it, I'm going to be in the street telling women they need to be in the kitchen just because I want my former glory on TikTok. I know why they like that, but yeah, man, it's been lovely. It's been really cool. And, it's just nice that people are coming to shows and yelling another good question at me in the street.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which has happened a few times. It's very strange.
What in terms of your own podcast? So you mentioned the one that you did with Matt Willis a
me
few
and Matt
years
Willis
ago,
did one.
and I see you do the I Am Prime Minister. Although you haven't done one for a little while, and that is that something
so
ongoing?
that died
Or?
a death, man. Like it
Oh,
was.
did it?
Yeah, we sort of started okay. It's one of them. I sort of pod to have a podcast is like a lot more work than people think. It takes up time, booking guests,
It does.
all that stuff. It's actually doing this is not the problem with podcasts.
Sure, sure.
And I think it sort of worked as a format, but I wasn't really making any money off of it. It was kind of taking up a lot of time. And then, but the Matt Willis one we did in lockdown, and that was really good. And we stopped because Busted went back on tour, basically. And then he's now in the West End and all this other stuff. And but it was really fun. And also in lockdown, everyone was available to do interviews. So we had some killer guests. We had these amazing, like we had Busted, we had Ramesh, we had all these amazing people. Like we almost at one point, until he wasn't very well, there was talk of like Mark Hoppus because Matt knows him a bit and things like that.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I just think like it was really cool, but they're hard work. And these days, especially, you can't even, my last one, we did a series. So we did like 10. You've just got to be going all the time, haven't you? And I think that's the way to do it.
Absolutely,
like
if you're doing like
a
that.
proper machine. I know you do it all the time, don't you? Just do one a week every week.
We tend to put them out every other week. That just seems to be
that's a
manageable.
little bit easier.
Yeah. And we'll record them as frequently as we can, and then it's nice to have them up your sleeve. Yeah.
See, with my last one, so we did 20. Did we do 20 and 10? So the first series we did 20, and we were always playing catch up, like just always kind of like on the Monday going, we need one for next week and we need to do it this week and we need to find someone. And it was just a bit of a pain. Yeah. So I think what's happening now though is based on all this TikTok stuff, I think I'm going to try, I've got sort of working with someone to maybe make that a pod where it's like having guests on, but talking about showbiz honestly, because I think, I think what people have found interesting is like, I've been honest about how much money I make, things like that, which I think people assume because you've been on telly. I remember being on the train once and a girl was like, are you Matt Richardson? I went, yeah. And she goes, why are you on the train? I was like, I present a show on ITV2. I don't know what you, I'm not even on a main channel, but I think people's perception is you're like making a fortune. And like the realities of comedy, like some comedy clubs, you're playing to 400 people and you're getting paid 250 quid because they've got, there's all the costs and whatever, or, it's not a really well-paid job. And I think too many people sort of are embarrassed to talk about that, they had to, like I said, I cancelled Sheffield on tour. Like people don't want to talk about those things, but actually I think people engage with that and they find it really interesting. You know, I'm a nerd
Yeah.
for it all. I love comedy. I'm a TV nerd. I love all that. Like, you know, I love talking about the backstage of it all and the nuts and bolts. So I'm going to try and do that, I think.
Yeah, I think, you know,
And especially with people who've had up and down careers that are really interesting, you know, like rather than people who just blow up and it goes amazing. You want to talk to like bands, you know. Who did you have on with Jared Reddick before him?
Before.
Yeah, No, on that episode, there's a guy at the beginning.
Oh right. Yeah. Oh, firstly, thank you for listening to that. Yeah, it was. It's about. I think that was the singer from a band called Free Friends, who are like a smaller American band, kind of just
he was
slogging
in a band.
away. Yeah.
What I loved about that interview was he was speaking really honestly about like, oh yeah, I was in a band, we had some success, and then I went back to work. Yeah. And I went and worked and like had a life for years, and this thing has slowly come out of that. And I think those sorts of things, because people look at like doing music or doing comedy, I think, as like this unattainable goal that you're like, because they're only looking at the big end of it. Whereas you go, actually, like there is a halfway house where it can be your job and you're not well known and it can still be really fulfilling that we just don't talk about at all. Yeah. You know, it's the classic thing. Whenever anyone did Cribs, they hired a better house.
Right. Yeah.
And I think actually it's more appealing to watch you live in your normal house and just be like, I have this amazing job, but like it's not fame and fortune, you know?
Yeah. And evidently there's an audience for that based on your TikTok success.
Man, absolutely.
But I think that's what people want to hear. They just want to hear like candid, you know,
totally. No one wants to hear like the worst autobiographies are where they go, I did this and then it blew up and I never had to do anything difficult again.
Yeah, and so was so nice, and that person's so nice, and everyone's awesome. You know,
you want it where they're like, "Oh yeah, I lost it. I nearly lost it all for a few years, or I went, you know, like I had to go and like build back up." Like they're the best ones.
Matt, I think we could probably, we've been going.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, this has been an absolute privilege. I really appreciate you doing it, and I could talk to you all night quite easily. I thought it might be fun to finish on a little. You know, we do these things at the end sometimes, and I thought. Maybe the most fun one to do for you is just keep it simple, like an either or. I'll give you two bands, pick which band you prefer. We'll see which band stays on at the end. I've got a cut. So I think I know with what you'll end up with, but we'll see.
Let's see.
It could be interesting. All right. Okay, let's go for it. First two, Newfound Glory or Bowling for Soup?
Bowling for Soup.
Really?
I have a massive soft spot for. I love Bowling for Soup.
They are a lot of fun, but
and Jared is great. Jarrett is great, isn't he?
Yeah. Have you met Jarrett before?
No, never. But I love him online. All that.
Yeah. He's a lot of fun. Sorry, this is supposed to be quick fire.
Sorry,
I won't give a pin.
That's my fault. This is my problem.
I'm questioning your answer. It's your answer. It's just because I love Newfound Glory so much.
I really like Newfound Glory, but yeah, Bowling for Soup pipped them to the post.
Right, Bowling for Soup or Simple Plan?
Bowling for Soup.
This one might be a bit more of a challenge for Jarrett. Bowling for Soup or Bring Me the Horizon?
Bring Me the Horizon. Sorry.
Bring Me the Horizon or Taking Back Sunday?
Bring Me the Horizon.
I wonder if they're just going to go all the way to the end now.
They may well do, yeah.
Bring Me the Horizon of Fall Out Boy.
Ooh, I am going to stick with Bring Me, but it's a very difficult decision.
Bring Me the Horizon or Hot Mulligan.
Bring Me the Horizon.
Bring Me the Horizon or The Wonder Years.
I've not really listened to much Wonder Years. Bring Me the Horizon.
Okay. Bring Me the Horizon or Sum 41.
Ooh, okay. So I have interviewed Derek Whibley as well. He came on my Virgin show. Is that how you say Whibley? Yeah, Whibley.
I think so.
Yeah. And he brought his mum.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, because he was in London for like a few days doing a couple of bits, and he was like, "Oh, mum, come with me." And what slightly ruined Sum 41 for me was she was like a really proud mum.
Yeah.
And like, so she was in the studio, and she was like, I was like, "Oh, you can come in the studio for the interview." And he's going, "No, no, dude, you don't want her in here." Because she was like taking photos and videos, and then she's going, "Can you two move together whilst we're on air?" Going, "Can you get together just so I can do?" Really? And she was so proud of his son. And I'm like, "Oh man, I used to think you're a rock star. This is like my mum."
Wow.
I'm gonna go Bring Me again.
Bring Me the Horizon or Alkaline Trio.
Bring Me just.
Bring Me or MGK?
Oh, Bring Me. MGK's gone off the boil.
I want. Okay. Bring Me or Green Day?
Green Day.
It
Green
was
Day.
good.
Green Day. I don't listen to much Green Day at the moment, but
Yeah.
Green Day hold an incredibly special place in my heart.
Bring Me the Horizon had a very good run there, but
They did. You
Green.
can't not. Bring Me a great live. Like I think they're one of the best. Like when I saw them last year, I thought this is one of the best live shows I've been to at this scale.
Yeah,
But
sure.
Green Day are just 3 hours of absolute belters. Like they know exactly how to give an audience exactly what they want.
I've got three more. Let's see if Green Day
go
can
on.
stay till the end.
Hey,
We've got
sorry,
Green Day up against Jimmy Eat World.
Green Day, definitely still Green Day. I like Jimmy, but Green Day.
Green Day against a slam dunk one, Dashboard Confessional.
Green Day. I was never that Dashboard were a bit too shoegazy for me.
And now the ultimate one, Green Day against Blink 182 for the final one.
Oh no. Green Day. I'm going Green Day. I'm sticking with Green Day. And you know why? It's because I've interviewed Mark Hoppus a couple of times and I was nervous to meet him, but Green Day came into Virgin and they were on Edith Bowman's show and I didn't meet them because I couldn't. I didn't go into her. They were like, you can come in and meet them. And I was like, I can't meet them. No, they've got too much.
It's just too,
They're too much for me. Yeah. So like, it's got to be Green Day. Like they're the ones for me that were my special kind of the thing that I couldn't believe I'd discovered.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Would you go Blink then?
I would absolutely.
Not a Green Day fan.
I'm not a Green Day fan. It's controversial take because it's like I got into Blink when summer of 99, 16 years old. Enema of the State came out. I'd never heard anything like it. I was familiar with Green Day prior to that and always thought, it's okay. It's just not really my thing. Yeah. Whereas obviously, there's a slightly different sound to Blink and that's what spoke to me. And I've enjoyed the odd Green Day song over the years since then, but it's just, nah.
You know what? Green Day, I think Green Day now you look back, like they've got some obviously classics, but they are now like, they're a rock band, aren't they? Rather than sort of within that genre. Like, so I think I totally get it. And like, Blink still feel like they are a relevant band, whereas Green Day feel like they're a heritage band. That's how I define them now. So I think Blink are still releasing decent stuff and Blink are still very involved in the scene, right? Like Mark Hoppus and, they're all doing other things like Travis especially is like doing everything possible.
Of course.
Like, who does that man owe money to? He's married to a Kardashian. What's he playing at? But Green Day feel other now, I think. And like, it feels like they've sort of moved on to that, we're doing stadiums and we're like the Rolling Stones. Whereas Blink still Green Day feel dated in some ways. I love them, but they feel like they've got that edge of them. I don't give a fuck what Green Day release now. I will listen to a brand new Blink album.
Sure.
That's how I'd define it,
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable way of putting it, definitely. Yeah. But on that note, Matt, I think we can wrap this up. Yeah, thanks so much for doing this. It was a lot of fun.
An absolute joy to talk about this with you. Thank you very much. I love the pod. I'm really chuffed to be on it. And hopefully see you at Slam Dunk.